Okay, good morning, sixth grade again. Here are our notes for parts of algebraic expressions and writing an algebraic expression. So in our instructional video, I already told you needed this foldable, and this foldable. So before we even get started, I want you to take the time to get your scissors out, and you're going to need to cut these out here. Cutting them out. Do. So we're going to cut along the dotted lines here. And then you're actually going to cut this into little flaps. Okay. Little bitty flaps. Notice we have some in the top in words, and these down here are in numbers, and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so that one's cut out. I'm going to set it off to the side. So then this one, I'm just going to cut out the outline here. Whoops, I'm dropping things. And go from there. And then that one's done, so I'm going to set it off to the side. And then this one is the same way. We're just going to cut along these dotted lines. Got to get here to the inside. Go around the world. Oops. And around the world again. And then around the world again. And then around the world again. And then we have it just like that, and we can set it off to the side. And then make sure, for your parents' sake, that you take and you throw your trash away. They don't want to see all that. And then you're going to turn your notes to your table of contents. And it's been a minute since we've taken some new notes. It was on the 17th, back in November, that we took new notes. Not quite a month. So we're going to start on page 24 here. And we're going to title it Parts of an Algebraic Expression. And then we're just going to put dash right. Okay, because we're also going to be writing them. We're going to be defining the parts of them, but we're going to be writing them as well. And so, whoops, 12, 7, or 20 is the date that we're taking these. And it's page 24, so we're going to turn to the next available, right and left side page thinking. So all the way past 23 was our order of operations notes, so now we're at 24. Okay, we write on the right hand side of our page. So down here, page 24, 12, 7, 20, 20. And then we're going to write parts of an algebraic expression. Okay. And then we have objective, and it is I can identify and define the parts of an algebraic expression. And what an algebraic expression is different than our regular expressions that we know of. Expressions that we've been working with, they all have numbers. It's a numerical expression. An algebraic expression is a type of math expression that has at least one variable and at least one operation. So an algebraic expression is different from a numerical expression because it contains at least one variable. Okay, so it's an algebraic expression, contains at least one variable and at least one operation. So I can identify and define the parts of an algebraic expression and utilize them to write algebraic expressions. Okay? And we forgot to put write up here as well. Okay, so we're going to write them. We're going to define the parts, and then we're going to use them to write algebraic expressions. Okay, so a couple of things that we need to talk about. There is a variable, and a variable is just a letter or symbol that represents an unknown quantity. Okay, so variables represent unknowns. And then there are these things called terms. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about those here in a minute, but a term is a part of an algebraic expression that is separated by an addition or subtraction sign. Those are the only two operations that separate the terms. Okay, is an addition sign or a subtraction sign. And then there's this thing called a coefficient, and that is the number that is multiplied by the variable. Okay, so now we'll get started. We're going to start with this foldable here. And so remember, we're not going to paste it in until we're done writing in it, and then we will paste it in. So we're going to identify the different parts of this. So the parts of an expression. So right here, this 4 is a coefficient. So coefficient. This m is what we call a variable, meaning it is an unknown quantity. Okay, this 12 here is what we consider a constant, because a variable will make this term here vary, and this is another term. Okay. So this is a term, and this is a term, because they are separated by an addition symbol. Okay, so this here is one term, and this here is another term. And this is what you consider an algebraic expression. The whole thing is an algebraic expression, but it's also a sum. Okay, this is a sum because we're adding. They're adding the terms together. So now, the next part of this is you have this question. It says to name the coefficient, the variable, and the constant in 3 times r minus 4. So you're going to list them right here on the blanks. And this is one of those questions that you're going to have to answer in wisdom for me. Okay? So then it tells you to write 3 different expressions that contain the constant 6 and the variable s. Now I'm going to add a little something to that. They have to have at least 2 terms. Okay? They have to have at least 2 terms, and remember, terms are separated by an addition symbol or a subtraction symbol. Okay? So those are the parts of an expression. Those are the things that we need to be talking about. So when you go to paste this in, what you're going to do is you're going to fold it, okay, and you're going to paste it over here on the left hand side right underneath this handy dandy objective. Okay, so you can use those markers right there. Okay, so the next one that we're going to look at, and we might actually have to move things around a little bit. Yes, Dakota, you can. Sorry, I have both my children here today. So, we might change this. Give me a minute too. This might go on the left-hand side because it won't be utilized as much as this one and this other one. So let's see here. Let me plan this out a little bit better. Yep, that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so this other one, how you do it is you fold these in anyways, and then we'll talk about them in a minute. Fold these in. Okay, and then we'll fit right there on the right hand side if we do it just right. And so we'll paste this one at the top at the left and this one to the right of it, and then we're going to put this one on the left hand side page, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. Okay, so take this one, and we're going to actually need glue for this one. Miss Lewis's glue has disappeared. Okay, I'm back, and I have glue. Remember, school glue works the best. It'll keep your foldables in there for longer. Remember, I still have a few students in high school that use this because they're still using coefficients and terms, and that helps them remember their vocabulary and things like this. Now remember, this is just an introduction. However, you still use this terminology when you get into high school up there. So, that being said, we have that pasted in. Let's go ahead and paste this little feller in. I want to make sure that he's kind of right side up there. So we'll make sure these are folded. And so we're going to use the bottom here. I'm going to put teeny tiny dots of glue. Maybe. Gotta open it first. Teeny tiny dots of glue. Around the outside edge. And then make sure, clean that off a little bit, that it's kind of right side up, so you guys are there with me. So notice mine's writing expressions is right there. So I'm going to take and I'm going to paste it. I might have to move these down so they don't accidentally get pasted down too. I'm going to paste it in right here. Okay. Make sure it's pasted down real good and it's not seeping out. Okay, so then that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this other one in while we're thinking about it. So turn to that left side page. So remember, I didn't flip a page, guys. I'm still here. This is my left side page for this. I'm just going to put this one over here and make sure it's facing upright. I'm going to put this one over here just in the center of the page as a reference for myself. And I'm going to leave it, better yet, let's just open it all the way up. What do you guys think? Let's just open it all the way up and lay them out nice and flat here. Just like that, okay? Make it easier for you guys to take pictures and send to me. Okay, so I'm going to flip it back over. So now we're going to use the parts of an algebraic expression to write algebraic expressions. So we're going to have, sometimes we're going to have coefficients, we're going to have variables, we're going to have terms. So let's look at these problems here. These are in words. And then it says 11 less than 3 times a number. Now, anytime it says 3 times a number, that indicates, or a number, anything that's a number or a number S or an unknown or anything like that, that indicates that that should be a variable. Okay, and so we're going to call this variable n, because number, it starts with the letter n, so we're going to actually use that as our variable. 3 times a number n, and then it says 11 less than 3 times a number n. Well, most of you on this particular question are going to want to put 11 minus 3 times n. Well, that would be wrong because it says 11 less than, so that keyword then, 3 times a number. So that means you're going to write 3 times a number minus, because less than, 11. Okay? So I have my coefficient, I have my variable, subtraction, and this is my constant, okay? And there are how many terms in this algebraic expression? 1, 2, okay? So everybody see, 11 less than 3 times a number, okay? And remember, 3 next to a variable, anything next to a variable, that means to multiply. So that means 3 times a number. So that's another form of multiplication.